So in the last video, we created a random wander for our NPC. In this video, we're going to create the player detection flow graphs so that our NPC can both detect whether the player is nearby and whether the NPC can see the player. And if it can, that'll then allow the NPC to chase the player. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we need to do is create a few object variables. And these are going to keep track of whether our NPC can see the player and whether the player is nearby. So I'm going to click on my NPC, come down to my variables window. I'm going to go to object. I'm going to create two variables. First one is player is near, and it's going to be a type Boolean. I'm going to create a second variable, can see player, and this is also a type Boolean. And the distinction here is whether the player is nearby and is it within line of sight? Because if the player is hiding behind a house or a rock, I don't want my NPC to treat it as if it can see it. I want my player to be able to hide from the enemies. Next thing we want to do is create a sphere collider that's going to act as a trigger that will detect when the player is nearby. And we want to do that on a separate object. We don't want to be doing that on our player object. And the reason is we want to put that on another layer that can ignore raycast. That way, we can't click on this big bubble that's going to surround our NPC. We don't want to detect that big bubble as part of our NPC, so we want to put it on a different object and a different layer. So in my hierarchy, I'm going to open up my NPC, I'm going to right click on the parent object, and I'm going to create an empty child. And I'm going to name that player detection. And then I'm going to add a sphere collider, make sure that's set as is trigger, and I'm going to set its radius to 15. That's the radius that the enemy can detect the player, and that's going to depend on how you want your AI to work and how zoomed in your camera is. It's all a matter of fine tuning for you. Then I'm going to add a flow machine. Then in my macros folder, I'm going to create bolt flow macro. I'm going to call this detect player is near. I'm going to drag and drop that into my flow machine like so on my player detection object. So essentially what this flow macro is going to do, it's going to track whether the player is inside the collider or outside the collider. So when the player enters the collider, we're going to say, yes, the player is near. When it leaves the collider, we're going to say, no, the player is not near. So I'm going to double click on my flow graph, make it full screen, and I'm going to add in my on trigger enter event. Like we've done before, I'm going to take this collider out. I'm going to compare tag, and I'm going to compare this and see if it is the player. I'm going to connect my flow. I'm going to drag that Boolean out to a branch, connect my flow. And then if that's true, I want to set a variable. I want to set an object variable. Now, if you remember, I created those variables on the parent object. It's not on this player detection object. So we have to change this game object here where it says self, we have to go find the parent. So I'm going to add a unit. I'm going to transform parent. And I come down here to transform.parent get. I'm going to drag that up into there. And both smart enough to convert this transform into a game object. And then we need to tell it what value. So I'm going to right click here, add unit, bool literal. And if the player's entered the trigger, we want it to be true. And then I'm going to connect up the value like so. So now the last thing we need to do here is tell it the name of the variable. Now we need to be really careful of how we spell this. So mine was player is near with capital letters. It is important that it's spelled correctly. Next thing we're going to do is build up the logic for when the player leaves this trigger. And it's going to be very similar to this. So I'm going to right click on trigger exit. And I'm actually going to copy all of this logic and paste it and drag it down here. Like so. I'm going to connect up the flow and my collider. And instead of true down here, I'm just going to turn that to false. So now when our player enters, the Boolean gets set as true, and when we exit, the Boolean gets set as false. Next thing we want to do is add another flow macro to determine whether we can actually see the player. Is the player within line of sight? So I'm going to add another flow machine. In my macros folder, I'm going to create a new bolt flow macro. I'm going to call this can see player, and I'm going to drag and drop that into our flow machine. So this piece of whether we can see the player is a little bit more complex. We're going to end up using some raycasting. Now raycasting, if you do it every frame, is not a big deal. But if you have 10, 100, 1,000 NPCs on your scene and they're raycasting every frame, that is going to be a pretty big drag on your performance. So the first thing we're going to do is check whether the player is near. We only want to be raycasting if the player is nearby. So I'm going to double click on my flow graph and I'm going to add in an update event. I'm going to drag that flow out to a branch. And then what we want to do is get a variable. We want to get the object variable. We want to get it on the parent just like we did on the last flow graph. So I'm going to search for transform parent, get, and connect that up to the game object. And I'm going to type in player is near so it knows which variable. And I'm going to connect that up to our branch. So we're only going to run the rest of this code if we can see the player. If the player is near, we're going to do a raycast. So I'm going to right click, add unit, physics raycast. And the option that I'm interested in is the physics raycast down here with the origin, direction, and hit info. I'm going to connect the true flow to this raycast. And now we need to do a little bit of vector math. So our origin, that's going to be where the player is. So I'm going to right click, add unit, transform position. And I'm going to connect that up to the origin. We're just going to raycast from the position of the NPC. But now we need to get a direction. We need the direction from the NPC to the player. We're going to do that with vector subtraction. So I'm going to right click, add unit, subtract, and I want the subtract vector 3. And what we're going to do is get the player's position and subtract the NPC's position, and that's going to give us a vector from the NPC to the player, which has the same direction as our raycast. Now from an earlier tutorial, we saved a scene variable that was the player. So I'm going to right click down here, add unit. I'm going to get scene variable, and here's my player. And this returns the game object that is the player. I'm going to drag that out, and I'm going to look for transform position, get, and that's going to return the player's current position. I'm going to set that into the A node and the NPC's position into the B node. And again, the result of that is a vector that goes from the NPC to the player. So I'm going to connect that up to the direction. Then our raycast returns a Boolean. It returns a Boolean if it actually hits something. I'm going to drag that out to a branch. I'm going to connect the Boolean. So if it did hit something, I'm then going to make sure that that thing that we hit was the player. So I'm going to drag out the true flow. I'm going to search for compare tag. And here we're going to make sure that the object that we hit was tagged player. We want to make sure that we hit the player. If we just hit a tree, we don't want to go searching for the tree. We want to make sure that we actually saw the player. In order to do that, I'm going to drag out the hit info. We get here this raycast hit. And I can choose this option here of transform get. That's going to get the transform that we hit. And then again, both smart enough to turn this transform into a game object like so. So we're going to double check that what we actually raycasted and hit was the player. And if that's true, we need to set the variable can see player to true. So I'm going to drag the flow out from here. Look for set variable, object variable. And once again, we don't have any object variables on this object. We want to do it on the parent object. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to transform parent, get parent. Put that up there. Right click, add unit, bool literal. Drag it up there and make sure it's checked as true. We can, in fact, see the player. We also need to tell it what variable to set, can see player. Now we do need to do one more thing. Right now we're only setting this Boolean to be true, but if the player is no longer near, that means that we can't see the player. If the player is too far away, we want to reset this Boolean to false. And so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to copy the set variable and the bool literal. I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to drag them down here, reorganize a little bit. And in this case, we want to set it to false, but we only want to set that false if the player is not near, which we're checking right here with this very first branch statement. We're going to drag that down like so. And I almost forgot one more thing we need to do. Here where we set our variable, this object does not have this can see player. It needs to be on the parent. So once again, I'm going to copy this transform parent get, drag it over here, and plug it in like so. Let's go back to our game view and see how this works. Now, since the NPC is not going to react to whether these variables are true, it's not going to start chasing the player yet. The only way we can really check to see if our flow graph is working is by looking at our values of our variables. If you click on the NPC and go down to the variables window, you can see the values of those two Boolean variables. Let's push play and see what happens. Now the NPC is not near my player, so both these values are false. As I move closer to my NPC, you can see that they become true because the player is near the NPC and the NPC can see the player. Now you may notice that if you hide behind a rock or behind a tree, that the NPC can still see you. And that's going to be because those objects don't have colliders on them. If you want an object to be opaque to the raycast, you need to add a collider to it. And that's going to be up to how you want to design your game and what objects you want to be opaque. Now that we can detect whether the player is nearby and whether the NPC can see the player, we need to add our transitions to our state macro. So if I click on my NPC, the state graph comes up. And what I want to do is make a transition from this wander state to my chase state. And I can do that by right-clicking on wander, make transition, and clicking on chase. Now, you can see here in the middle of the transition, I get a little icon, and this is where the logic of the transition is going to happen. So if I double click on this icon here in the middle of my transition, it's going to open up another flow graph. And this is the logic that's going to get executed when this transition is occurring. And this state over here, the state transition, this is when we know that we're done with the transition. So what we want to do in order to make this transition, we want to make sure that both the player is near and the player can be seen. So I'm going to add a unit. Get object variable. I'm going to right click, can see player, and I'm going to duplicate that. Player is near. I'm going to drag this into an and statement. So I want to make sure that both of these are true. And if both of those are true, then I want to execute this transition. So I'm going to drag this Boolean up to a branch, connect the true. Now I want to be checking this pretty frequently. In fact, I want to be checking this every frame, whether these conditions have been met. So I'm going to right click, add unit, and I'm going to add an update event. And I'm going to connect the flow like so. I'm going to go back to my state macro, and I'm now going to make a transition from chase to wander. So I'm going to right click on chase, make transition, and then click on wander. And I get a new transition. In this new transition, if either of those Boolean variables, can see player or player is near, if either of those is false, then I want to make this transition. So I'm actually going to go back into this transition we just made. I'm going to copy this, come into the new transition, and I'm going to paste it like so. But this time, instead of connecting up the true, I'm going to connect the false. So if either of these is not true, this and statement is going to evaluate as false, and then we're going to trigger our transition. So let's go back to the state macro. I'm going to push play and let's see how these transitions work. So you can see down here in our state graph that our NPC is in the wander state. He's wandering around. Now if I walk closer to him, you can see the transition was made to this chase state. And since there's no logic in that chase state, he has just stopped wherever he was. If I walk away, it transitions back to this wander state and the NPC will wander around again. So there you go. We've created our player detection scripts as well as implemented a couple transitions in our state macro. In our next video, we're going to look at this chase state so that our NPC can actually pursue our player and become a little bit more interactive, a little bit more interesting in the game. So I hope that was helpful and I hope to see you around for the next video.